Hello, and welcome to this afternoon's activities. Here we are in the beautiful gardens in the Elbow Lake area to tell you about today's Changemakers activity. It's based on a farmer's market theme, a healthy harvest. We are excited for you to have a chance to learn from our WCA students, community members, and area farmers all about how the food on your table gets there. Whether it comes from a farmer's market or a grocery store, it started out in a garden or in an area farm field similar to this. So we are so excited to have you today. If you are listening to this, hopefully you were pre-registered and enjoying a wonderful taco salad from Naughty Pine. If you didn't pre-register, you still can have all sorts of fun with activities, and you also have the opportunity on July 16th from 5 until 7 to join the farmers market at Veterans Park in Elbow Lake. And if your family is comfortable with that and has the opportunity to do that, we are lucky enough that Titan Machinery of Elbow Lake and Midwest Machinery will have some tractors and some different farm machinery for you to be able to see and take a picture of. And Mrs. Frickman from Thorson Memorial Library is going to have a story walk where you can walk through the pages of her book that's on this video today. If it doesn't work out into that schedule, no problem. You're going to be able to enjoy this video either in small chunks or throughout and learn all sorts of different things and be entertained. There are 2 songs picked especially for you guys today, so we hope that you enjoy that and have lots of fun with it. We can't wait for you to enjoy this activity.
Let's go to the farmer's market, fresh food to eat. Lots of fruits and vegetables, enough for you and me. Blueberries, blackberries, strawberries too. Put them in our basket, enough for me and you. Let's go to the farmer's market, fresh food to eat. Lots of fruits and vegetables, enough for you and me. Tomatoes, potatoes, and broccoli. Onions and carrots and zucchini. Blueberries, blackberries, strawberries too. Put them in our basket, enough for me and you. Let's go to the farmer's market, fresh food to eat. Lots of fruits and vegetables, enough for you and me. Peaches, mangoes, apples and kiwi. Lettuce and spinach and lots of green peas. Tomatoes, potatoes and broccoli. Onions, carrots and zucchini. Blueberries, blackberries, strawberries too. Put them in our basket, enough for me and you. Let's go to the farmer's market, fresh food to eat. Lots of fruits and vegetables, enough for you and me. Honey, cheeses and fresh baked pies. Herbs and flowers right before your eyes. Peaches, mangoes, apples, kiwi. Lettuce and spinach and lots of green peas. Tomatoes, potatoes and broccoli. Onions, carrots and zucchini. Blueberries, blackberries, strawberries too. Put them in our basket, enough for me and you.
If you don't know who I am, my name is Meadow, and I am one of our Federation officers as well as an ambassador for our county. And today's lesson is on gardening. I'm going to be teaching you today how to make one of your very own cute little planters like this for starting seeds. And I will note that I'm coming to you from my garage because it's someplace that I can clean up nice and easy if I were to make a mess with my dirt. So today we're going to be making our little seed planters out of, I used a paper towel roll, or you can use a toilet paper roll, doesn't matter. I cut my paper towel roll into 4 sections, so it wasn't so big. And to make this, you are going to take your tape measure or ruler or whatever, and you're going to measure 3/4 of an inch. And you're going to make a mark, and you're going to make a couple of those marks, because you'll be using those marks to cut things, to cut on. So now that we have our marks, a few of them, a couple around, you're going to be making 4 slits. And this might be a job that you want your adult helper to help you with. So you make a slit 3/4 of an inch up, and you're going to do it in 4 spots. So you're going to do it one across from another. So now that you have your thing cut, you're going to bend in the sides, the flaps that you cut there. And so you're going to start one way, and you're going to go the one right next to it, and the one right next to it. And then you get to this one, and you have to do something a little bit different. You have to fold it kind of like you might a box top, the top of a box, and lift the first corner up a little bit, and push that last flap down so you can get it to a nice kind of flat bottom, just like that there. And you might have to push it in just a little bit, or give it a little crease so it stays. There, that should do it. So now we are ready to fill these with dirt, because that's the way we are planning these today. So here I have a bucket, and I have some dirt in it. And now my dirt was pretty dried out, so I had to mix some water in it with it. So it may look just a little bit like mud. This is where easy cleanup comes in, because you're going to want to fill your thing up with dirt. See, I already made a mess. So you're going to fill it with dirt. Just like that. So now we have it filled with dirt, and now we're ready for our seeds. I had this pack of seeds around my house, but you can plant anything really in these. These are morning glories, and they look just like this. And I'm only going to put just a few of these seeds in here. Maybe like 3 or 4 would do it. And so set those down. You can either take a little bit of a layer off of soil and put your seed in and cover it back up, or you can just take your seed and just push it down in there just a little bit, just like that. Yeah, just like that. And I'll do my other few. And then the nice thing about planting in these, either your toilet paper roll or your paper towel roll, is that these are biodegradable. What that means is you don't have to take all the dirt out of this pot when you want to put it in a bigger container or plant it in the ground. You can just actually put this whole thing right in there, and it'll break down in the ground, and it's just easier. So then something that's really fun that you can do with these is you can either take a clothespin or a popsicle stick. I couldn't find my popsicle sticks, but I found my clothespins, and you can decorate them with the name of your thing you planted, or just some fun little decorations and help you remember what you planted in there. See, it's not so much guesswork when it grows up. So I just took a blue permanent marker and I wrote Morning Glory on mine, because that's what I planted. And you can just clip it on here, or you can clip it on the container. And I will mention, you have to put these in some sort of container, because when you water them, your roll will absorb the water, just kind of like this one has here. You can see the color difference. It will absorb the water, so you have to set it in something so it doesn't get all over and make a big mess. So this one needs some water. Stick it in here. And just give it a little drink. You can see it starting to soak up there. Get a little bit more. And then these don't need to be watered a whole lot. Just water them when either from your seed package directions or when the soil kind of starts to get kind of dry. And there is things on your seed packet that give you directions on how to plant these sort of seeds too. So mine says something about the depth to sow. You might be wondering what that is. That is how far deep you need to put your seeds. So mine says 1/4 inch. So as I mentioned earlier, you can either leave a light layer off of your soil and just put your seeds on there and just put a little bit of dirt on top of them, or you can push them in. But you just have to be careful how far you push them in so that they can grow the way they need to. So yeah.
Good morning, my name is Bobby Valesky with Midwest Machinery, and we're the local John Deere dealer here. And I'm going to go through a number of machines that from small to large what farmers use in their everyday life and to get the crop in and crop out. To start off with, I have a gator. We sell a variety of gators. This one is our high end. It has a cab to keep the elements off of you. It has heat, it has AC, so they've come a long ways versus, the one right next to it where it's open station. But you can do a lot of versatile things with these. Farmers are mapping their fields. They're driving around the boundaries on them to make sure that they know exactly where their guidance lines and where their auto steer or their self-driving portions of the tractors can do it properly. They're picking rocks with them. They're doing all kinds of daily things with these machines. So a very versatile tool and key to any farm. Next we move on to mower. Now farmsteads have a lot of grass on them, and so getting that done in a hurry, getting the grass cut so they can go and do other more productive things is a key. So we have a variety of lawnmowers from rider tractors to zero turns. And a kind of a cool thing about some of these zero turns, they can actually mow as fast as you could probably run, up to 13 miles an hour. So you can get a lot done in a hurry with some fantastic productivity. Next we move on to a skid steer. And skid steers are extremely versatile tools that are common on nearly every farm. Obviously you see a lot of them with loaders on them or buckets on them to whether it's scooping out manure if it's a cattle production place, or moving dirt around or gravel. You can put grapple forks on this for trees. You can put pallet forks on here for moving seed containers and other pieces like that off of trucks. So an extremely versatile tool that we also sell here to try and keep that main line or whole line equipment available from John Deere. Next we're moving on to some bigger equipment, which is more fun for a lot of you. This is called a front assist tractor, and they say front assist because not only do the back wheels drive, but also the front wheels pull too. So if you get into some muddy conditions, that'll help pull you out. These are the staple of any farm. They're the ones pulling the planters, sprayers, grain carts in the fall. So these are doing a lot of different things throughout the year. And we'll go inside here and show you some of the cool features or some of the gizmos, I guess, on the electronic side. We have the seat, which you're sitting in for long periods of time, sometimes up to 16 to 18 hours a day. So you want to make sure you're comfortable. So these come, now with heated seats like a lot of your vehicles might have. There's also a buddy seat. So if you want to ride along with the parents, your dad or something out in the tractor, there's a comfortable spot for you. Going over to the controls, there's a nice big screen that tells you everything that's going on with the tractor. And one of the big parts of this is your guidance system. So being able to follow a very straight line, which is really important. And the tractor will drive itself or steer itself basically along those lines, and having this screen functional and easy to use and easy to see is very important with that. You'll also be able to run all your implements. So if you have a planter, you have a lot of different information coming from there that shows you what you're seeding, how much you're seeding, how fast you're going. So there's all kinds of different screens here to go through. And what's nice is If you on all kinds of different John Deere equipment, we're seeing very similar screens through each tractor and combine that we'll get to soon. So you don't have to learn a new screen for every one you go into. All of your radio controls, all of your air conditioning and heating controls are right here at your fingertips. This is how you put it into gear. So even though it's a big tractor, the controls are very user-friendly. Just about anyone can operate them. So something cool to see is big tires. So versus that other machine we looked at, this one has what we call super singles. And basically it has one big tire that takes the place of two. It really reduces compaction and has a lot more pulling effect and drive effect. So something kind of neat. They, they're a few feet wide, and you can see on the back here, this one's even a little bit wider, but it's a huge tire. It's something you almost see on monster trucks. So something neat and something that are getting more and more popular. So we're getting bigger and bigger with the tractors. Here's the biggest tractor that John Deere makes with tracks. So tracks are a little bit different than tires. They have a lot more of the footprint on the ground, which reduces compaction. And what compaction is how much pressure we put it on the ground. And if the ground's hard, it's harder for a crop to come up and pop through it. So if we can reduce that throughout the year, that's better, and we get bigger crops or more crop. And so tracks are becoming more and more popular, especially on a bigger tractor like this, which is typically used for tillage applications. So in the spring, you're running what we call a digger or field cultivator that preps the ground and gets it nice and even so we can go in and seed it or plant it. In the fall, we're running things called either chisel plows or rippers and grain carts that haul the grain from the combine to the truck are getting larger too. And so you might even pull one of those with this as well. So we'll hop in and show you that the screen is very similar to the last tractor we looked at and see how things try and keep common throughout the different pieces. All right, going back into the inside of a tractor. So this was that track tractor 4-wheel drive that we were just looking at. And you can see inside it looks very similar to what that front assist tractor looked like. And that's to keep things common so it's easy to hop in from one tractor to the next and not have to learn a whole new system. So the screen is very similar. All the controls, again, are at your fingertips. One thing, or a couple things in here that we have extra is this just came off a planter. And so there's some extra controls you need for lowering and lifting and unfolding a planter. So that's what this is. And then a camera as well. Now you can put extra cameras on these so you can see out behind you, because a lot of these implements are really big and you can't see if you're driving on the road. If you've ever followed someone that doesn't know you're behind them, it can get frustrating because they're only going 25 miles an hour. So that's very helpful, and also just any other spots that they might need to keep an eye on. It's good to have cameras around. We can also integrate cameras into this screen as well, but just for real estate purposes, on having more viewing area, a lot of times we'll put it on a separate screen. So again, as you can see, buddy seat, comfortable seat here, and nice big spacious cab to be comfortable in throughout the long day. All right, last machine here, and we saved the biggest and the best for last. So this is an S780 combine by John Deere, and it's the latest technology John Deere currently offers. Usually you see some sort of a header on the front of this, but without that on here, you can see kind of a little bit more into the combine. And when that header pulls the crop into this area, it starts its journey through here getting separated. These used to be called threshing machines, and they still do the threshing. We just, use a different terminology these days. But so as the grain enters, we call the feeder house. It goes through there and starts getting, knocked off the cob. If you're ever eating corn on the cob, you know that you have to get the kernels off. So this machine does it for you. And as it goes into the interior here, now we can't see inside at the moment, but basically there's a big round cylinder that turns and grinds and pulls that corn off, and it does it gently enough where it doesn't wreck it, but at the same time aggressive enough to knock it off. And then there's some shaker pans and all kinds of stuff in there that helps get all the chaff, all that extra, the leaves and all that stuff that comes with the corn or wheat or soybeans, whatever you're combining, to get that out of there. And there's fans in there that blow it off as well. And pretty soon as it gets to the end, it shoots out the back all that extra stuff. And these fans here basically spin really fast, and they spread it out as far as you can get, so you don't have a big pile here. It's spread out across the field. And then all of the good crop is up in this tank up top there, and when it gets full, the combine puts its auger out and it unloads it either while it's still combining into a grain cart, or I'll pull up to the end of the field and unload it into a truck and off to a bin site. So moving into the cab, as you can see, again, it's pretty similar. There are a little bit more difference in a combine versus the tractors. You still have screens. Here we have 2 screens set up just because there's a lot of information for a combine that needs to be digested. So it's kind of cool, like having 2 TVs at your house. We call this the hydro handle, and has a lot of buttons on it, and you can program the buttons for whatever you want it to do. So that's kind of neat, so your own personal preference. But yeah, it's kind of like you're in a video game here, going back and forth and pushing buttons and swinging augers out and turning it on, turning it off, all that fun stuff. And again, everything is push button. All of your air, your radio, all that stuff is here. So kind of neat. We also have, you know, heating and cooling on these seats in this combine. So keep you nice and cool in the hot days and warm in the cold. So thank you for joining us in the tour of equipment that farmers use from small to large. I hope you enjoyed it and learned something.
Hi, I'm Tyler Biss from WCA, and I'm a high school student there. And today we're going to learn a little bit about farm safety. Tractors are huge machines that farmers use to get all the work they need done for animals or crops. Now this is an older tractor, but modern tractors are a lot bigger than this one. Let's learn a little bit more about tractors. Tractors, no matter the age or the size, take a long time to slow down. That's because these things are really heavy, and usually they're pulling really heavy things. When tractors are running, you want to make sure you're staying far away from them so that they have plenty of room to stop so that you don't get hurt. In tractor cabs like these, there isn't a lot of space for a rider. But in newer tractors like these, we have extra seats for people to ride along with. Tractors pull a lot of different equipment, such as this planter right here. So whenever you're around farm equipment, make sure you have parents' permission, and probably around parents, because we want to stay safe.
We're at Titan Machinery, Elbow Lake, Minnesota. We're currently sitting in a 500 quad-track Steiger, and today we're going to show you how this machine can steer itself. We're going to simulate a headland turn here. We're going to pull into the headland. We're going to rotate the camera so you can see this tractor getting on line and finding its row. Here we go. So we're approaching the line. I'm going to hit the auto engage button, and I'm not touching the steering wheel. Here's my hands. And as we approach the end here, it's going to beep telling me I'm at the end of my headland, which I'll have to turn and do simulate another headland turn, and I'll hit the auto steer button and it'll find it on its way back. So we're approaching the end of the row here. We're going to grab the steering wheel, make our turn. And as soon as we get close, we're going to hit the auto button again. It's going to follow the line. Again, no hands. Steering itself, we're going to get to the end. It'll beep telling us that we're approaching the end of our headland, or end of our row going into the headland. And we grab the wheel and start over. I hope this video was informative, and I look forward to any comments you have. Thanks for paying attention.
I'm Kennedy Porter.
And I'm Meadow Christensen.
and we are from the West Central Area High School, and we are going into 11th grade, and we'd like to show you around our farms.
This is a selection of a few of the different poultry I raise. This is a chicken. This one would get you your chicken nuggets or your fried chicken. This is a turkey. This one lays our eggs for our morning breakfast. And this is a duck. I use mine for showing and 4-H. Some people use theirs for eggs or eating. This is my herd of pigs. I get about 8 every spring and raise them until the end of summer to use them for bacon in the fall or other things like ham and pork chops. This is a goat. She's a boar goat, so her breed is typically used for meat. We'll get to breed her later this fall, and so she'll have a baby next year.
These are some rabbits we use for showing, and we usually show at the county fair, but there's also some breeds of rabbits that are used for meat too.
This is one of my mature hen chickens. She's been laying eggs for a few years now, and here's a fresh one.
This is my grain room where I keep all my feed and mix all my feed for my goats. It consists of some pellets, which have some corn and soybeans and anything else and lots of other things in there. And then back here we also have our pile of corn screenings, which gets mixed in with our pellets too. So this is Opal. She is a Saanen goat, so her breed is used for dairy. And she will produce about 1 gallon of milk a day. And she is one of my very well-behaved goats. So first I have to wipe her udder off when I milk her to get rid of any dirt or anything that would be on there that we don't want in our milk. And next, I'll take a few squirts out of her just to get her milk going. And then I can put my pail down here and start milking. So now we have a full bucket of milk, and I will take this milk and make cheese out of it or use it to make soap or ice cream. I love ice cream on these hot days. When goats have babies, they are called kids. And right now I have about 20 kids on my farm. And in their pen they have a little area just to themselves that only they can fit in so that they can eat without their moms bothering them. Maybe you have chores at home that you have to do. We have chores every single day to take care of our animals. We have to make sure that they always have fresh, clean water and have feed.
Thank you guys for visiting our farms with us today. We had a lot of fun.
Everybody, it's Susan from Thorson Memorial Library. Our summer reading theme this year has been Dig Deeper, Read, Investigate, and Discover. And when I first heard of that theme, I thought about digging in my garden this spring. And I was really anxious to get out and dig in the dirt. Well, now it's July and I'm out checking my garden. I have a very little garden. I just have beans. And if you notice, I just found in my beans there's lots of blossoms and even some little beans growing. I'm so excited because beans are like my favorite vegetable to grow in the garden. What's your favorite vegetable to grow in the garden? I also have tomatoes. Look at how tall they're getting. And if you notice, there are tomatoes that are coming. They're all green yet, but I can't wait till they turn red and I can have them on a salad or a BLT. So when I've been gardening, I've noticed that there are some plants that grow up above the ground and also plants that grow underground like potatoes and carrots. And then there are other plants that grow on vines, and they go round and round and tangle and everything, like pumpkins and watermelon and squash. So today I have a fun story to read to you called Up, Down, and Around by Catherine Ayers and illustrated by Nadine Bernard Westcott. This story will help you learn about how different plants grow. I hope you enjoy the story. Have a good day. Catherine Ayers has dedicated this book to her grandchildren, Dorothy, William, and Nicholas. And the illustrator dedicated the book to Connor and Aiden. Even though I don't know who they are, I'm assuming they're her grandchildren as well. Look at this fun page. It's like a roller coaster for the insects. Up, down, and around. In the dirt, we'll dig a row, drop some seeds, and watch them grow. What kind of seeds do you think they're planting? Do you see any clues? Dirt piles up, seeds go down. Have you decided what kind of seeds are being planted yet? Water splashes around and around. Can you see who likes getting wet and who doesn't? Corn grows up. Carrots grow down. Cucumbers climb around and around. Do you see anything else that is going around and around? I noticed the ants and this cute little worm going round and round. Peppers grow up. Potatoes grow down. Pumpkins vine around and around. Look at how the crows are getting tangled in the pumpkin vines. Broccoli grows up. Beets grow down. Green beans wind around and around. Okra grows up. Onions grow down. Tomatoes twine around and around. Look at how these tomato vines are growing all around the scarecrow. Up his legs, around his hat and his arms. Fresh and tasty. Get a bunch. Pick some, pull some. Let's have lunch. Do you see all the things they picked from their garden that they're having for lunch? Let's take a closer look. I see the girl is eating corn on the cob, and I see vegetable soup and an onion. Look at this wonderful salad with lettuce and cucumbers and onions and tomatoes and carrots. Do you see the jar of beets? I really have learned to like pickled beets. They're delicious. Did you notice the pets are even sneaking some food? The kitty got some butter and the puppy got some pumpkin pie. Even the wild animals snuck some treats. Look at that. I hope you enjoyed listening to Up, Down, and Around and have learned a few things about how vegetables grow. If you don't have a garden of your own, stop by your local farmer's market to pick up a great selection of vegetables and other items that have been grown or made locally. Hi friends, I hope you enjoyed the story Up, Down, and Around. Now I have a little garden craft for us to make, and all it takes is 2 paper plates, some construction paper scraps, glue,
paint or crayons. And it looks like this when you're all done. So it's a beautiful blue sky and a garden and something growing in the garden. What do you think it is? I'm thinking it's a vegetable that grows down. Can you guess what it's going to be? What do you think it is? It's a carrot. What do you think the next one is going to be? Let's see. Did you guess a carrot? You were right. Here's another one. Boy, that kind of looks like a hand on the top, doesn't it? What is it going to be? Let's see if I can get a hold of it. It's another carrot. I think we're in the row of carrots. That was 3 carrots. So if we're in the row of carrots, what's this one going to be? A carrot as well. So if you do not have paint to paint your garden and your sky, you could use crayons like I did with this one. So I colored, and then if you don't have construction paper to make your carrots, you can use the leftover part of the paper plate to make some carrots as well. Didn't they turn out cute? I really like them. So follow along and you can make your own. Here are the supplies you need for this craft. 2 paper plates, glue, scissors, maybe a stapler, and some construction paper scraps. You will also need some paint, crayons, or markers. Cut 1 paper plate in half and color or paint it brown for the garden, and the full paper plate color blue for the sky. Once your paint is dry, you can glue or staple your garden to the sky background. Now it's time to make your carrot. So trace carrots on the orange construction paper and cut out or use the ones found in the kit. Then with the green construction paper, cut out a small rectangle and make lots of snips for the top, or trace a little hand on green construction paper. That they look kind of fun. Or someone gave me some raffia ribbon, and so I just cut a short piece of that and unrolled it to make a cool top as well. So lots of different ways to make your carrot. If you don't have any construction paper on hand, you can still make your carrots with a half sheet of paper plate that was left over, and just draw and color them and then cut them out. And they can be added to your little garden. What other vegetables could you add to your garden that grow underground? Could you make a potato, beets, or maybe even an onion? Give it a try. I hope you enjoyed this little garden craft courtesy of Elbow Lake Public Library.
Yeah. My name is Hudson and this is my dad, and we're gonna plant a little seed, and we have a garden, and then we eat the plants, and then share it to everyone and
the farmer's market?
And bring it to the farmer's market.
Do you want to show them the seed?
Yeah.
So show them our little seed.
And we start with this little seed.
And what do we put it with?
Dirt and water and soil and sunlight and soil.
So my name is David McCardle, and we have a farmer market garden. So we grow great big plants. Look at that.
Yeah. And
That's taller than me.
And
look at it. We get vegetables on them.
And we even share this little seed and all the fruit, vegetables that we grow and share with everyone in the world.
Yeah. So we take a little bitty seed like that and we put it in some dirt with some light and some water, and we let it grow, and it grows up to be something like, look at this tomato plant here. You see those tomatoes?
And then it plants food.
And then we take the tomatoes or the cucumbers like that,
Or a lot of food.
and we bring them to the farmer's market, and we sell it at the farmer's market to other families. So we just wanted to show you a little bit of what we do. We got a whole bunch of these little plants here. And those things are about 10 feet tall. And then there's all them tomatoes.
And me.
And me.
And
Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching.
The freshest veggies you can get is at a farmer's market. But there's more than veggies up for sale, and please don't fear the kale. There's honey from neighbor bees and apples from some grandpa's trees. There are jams and jellies in a jar is at a lemon bar. Buy eggs of blue and brown and white, which dropped from local chickens last night. Homemade bread, which has just been baked, that's freshness you can't fake. But back to talking vegetables, which might just grace your table. They are good to eat, but make it quick to you after they're picked. Most times they're green, sometimes they're red. The point here is veggies are nothing you should dread. And they're better when they're locally grown and go from gardens to your home. From the ground, a tree, or from a vine, the eats are mighty fine. The freshest veggies you can get are from a farmer's market. If you've never been to one before, what a treat you have in store. If you've never been to one before, what a treat you have in store.
We thank you for joining us for this fun activity today. We thank all of our community members and our students for making this possible. Thanks to Midwest Machinery of Elbow Lake and Titan Machinery for sharing their farm machinery at the farmers market and for their videos. We thank Mrs. Frickman and Thorson Memorial Library for the awesome story and the craft activity. We thank the 4-H and the WCA FFA for their wonderful advice and helping us learn a little bit more about farming. We thank the McCardle family for showing us what it's like to grow things in their garden and all of the various things that made today possible. Now, our next activity will be hosted at Elk Lake Beach in Hoffman on August 10th. That's our hope. If it needs to be virtual again, we'll let you know. So keep tuned to the WCA Facebook page and for announcements, and we'll let you know. But for sure it will be August 10th. And again, it will be there at Elk Lake Beach in Hoffman, or we'll do it virtually or a combination of both. So we hope to have you there. We hope you have lots of fun.